It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for the gang's all here. Holy shit.
All three of us in the same team. It can never happen.
It has definitely been a minute since all three of us have been on air together. So,
Mhm.
but I wasn't here last week to give
Yes, you
you
were.
grievances, Greg. No, yes, I was, but we didn't get
Maven was
news.
here last week, bud.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I didn't get a chance to grieve you as hard as I should have been over the fact that somebody finally signed.
Yeah, it's about
You
freaking
fi-
time.
you
Like,
finally have your quarterback, Greg.
I know. And here's the thing. It was pretty much, I don't want to say a foregone conclusion, but Aaron Rodgers is officially a Pittsburgh Steeler for this season. And as far as I know, this season alone.
Again, 1 year,
Whatever.
one year take.
Also, Josh is in chat. Hi, Josh. And yes, he asked, "How's your new quarterback?" That's a good question. How are your five? Okay, like you guys have, and you guys don't exactly have a stacked quarterback room. You just have a lot of them.
Yes.
How's Kenny Pickett, your week one starter?
You have Kenny Pickett.
Excuse me, Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett.
I mean,
okay.
would that be the first time a Super Bowl winner has started for the Cleveland Browns?
I don't know.
Jake Delhomme didn't win one.
No,
I don't think Derek Anderson was ever on a team that won a Super Bowl.
I mean, no, because Flacco was a starter for the Browns.
Oh yeah, and Flacco won for the
Ravens. Yeah, he won one for the old.
They definitely have.
Well, if that's the case, then the Browns have one because the Ravens were the Browns anyway. So.
See, that's my question because, the Browns are saying it's like, oh, we have 8 championships. Technically, don't the Ravens have 10? If we're comparing apples and oranges here, that Browns team moved to Baltimore. So do the Cleveland Browns really have 8 championships? I feel like there's a lot of gray area there. I know it's the name, and I don't know.
I mean, apparently, another team, whenever they brought up the NFL championships, a team that doesn't get talked about at all that has championships now is the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And I guess they had as many NFL championships as the Browns. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Well, I mean, the Packers, don't they have 13 or some shit? They have a lot.
There's a reason they're called Title Town.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
I think Lombardi had a bunch of them before the Super Bowl era.
And then he had the first 2 also.
There's so much gray. There's so much gray area there. Even 50 Shades is going, okay, we don't want anything to do with this. Thanks.
Yeah, and it's the same. We continually talk about Ric Flair's world championship record. Jeff has brought up it's more than 16. It's 20 or 21. We've had that discussion before, and it's with Major League Baseball, including the Negro League records, and the NFL going back and revising their history. I think. Guess.
Yeah, I think the terminology is key here because they are how many times Super Bowl champions, how many times World Series champions. That's the key term. How many times Stanley Cup champions in the NHL? Because the NHL Stanley Cup was awarded before the NHL was even a thing. So,
the thing with
like I said, it's very good.
I don't have a problem with Major League Baseball using the Negro League records because as far as world championships, that doesn't really affect that because the Yankees are far way ahead with 27. So it's not going to affect that significantly. It's more individual player statistics. So I don't have a problem with that. That's not an issue. Including, these championships pre-Super Bowl era It's like I feel like there's so much history with the Super Bowl, and especially if you're going to go to leagues that only had like 8 teams. Like I feel like there's some gray area as far as that's concerned. Like as far as I'm concerned, like you can celebrate those championships all you want, but a good chunk of your fan base wasn't alive when they happened. So we've said it before. You can't brag unless you were alive to witness that championship. I don't even brag about the 1998 like Notre Dame undefeated season of the national championship because while I was alive, I don't remember it. So it's like I want to see my Irish win a national title while I'm watching it. But
yeah, you can even tie it into wrestling. WCW felt like he was playing the title win back in 1905. It's like, okay, yeah, but not really NWA champion. He was a true undisputed champion. How much dispute was there in the 20s? After the Goldust Trio, took over the business. It's so, again, it's such a muddled discussion. It's almost as kind of an ancillary thing as talking about Jey Uso and his short reign, which was the topic we brought up for today, and just how people just need to just seriously, as my grandpa used to say, be cool and keep a tight asshole about it. Like it's not that serious, guys. There have been shorter reigns that went on to be Hall of Fame careers.
I'm glad you brought that up because I posted my opinion about that initially on Twitter, which it's Twitter, so it's not going to do a damn thing there. I posted that same opinion. You did see it. I appreciate you seeing it. But as far as like the grand scheme of everybody on Twitter, nobody sees a damn thing because Elon spent $44 billion on, a brick. And it's a pretty useless brick. So he can tweet all he wants about, him and Donald Trump going into a steel cage at some point, but nobody cares.
I was going to say he had more bricks this weekend than Shaq trying to shoot a free throw. Let's be clear. He had a rough week the last time they were together.
But as I was saying, I posted my same opinion from Twitter on TikTok. That son of a bitch is still blowing up. I sent it to you guys when I had like 11,600 views. It's above 13 now. Like we are.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we are riding on that opinion. It's like, listen, yes, the reign was short, but people saying that they fumbled Jey Uso. Let me cut you off right there. Jey Uso is a 7-time, now actually 8-time tag team champion because he had the one with Cody Rhodes. Legitimately one of 2 people, along with his brother Jimmy, who are, get ready for this, the longest reigning tag team champions in WWE history. Doesn't matter what version of the belt, they are the longest reigning. The 2025 Men's Royal Rumble winner. He won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. He won the Intercontinental Championship. There is no way you can say that man was fumbled for any reason. That man is a bona fide future Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think the problem is that people are falling in line behind Rikishi because Rikishi threw such a stink about it. I said this yesterday on the interview. Rikishi just needs to not immediately react. It's not good. It's a papa protecting his baby, and I understand that to an extent. I have a 17-year-old who I try to protect every day, and doesn't always work out because he's a teenager and he's headstrong, much like Jason. But you could never have convinced me a year ago at this time that Jey Uso was going to be a world champion. I would have never believed you. So the fact that he got there and he had a pretty solid little run here, hell, even his own Uncle Rodney lost the title at WrestleMania 2 minutes after he won it. Yokozuna is a bona fide Hall of Fame.
I watched him getting up there.
He was a made man by June 13th because he literally killed Hulkamania in the WWF for 9 years. Okay, well, God, because you know, okay. So let's all just do stuff for a second about Jey Uso's short reign. It's like, and you and I were talking before we came on the air. It's not just the reigns that begin at WrestleMania and come up short. Edge's first world title was 3 weeks long, kids. Calm the hell down. Rob Van Dam's world title in WWE, which started today in 2006, 4 weeks. Rob Van Dam is a made man. He's been a made man before that reign, but let's all just take a step back and just go. It's wrestling, and these things happen. And Winter is so much more, for my money. Winter is so much more a just dominant champion to go into a 2-night title fight.
Rey Mysterio was WWE champion for 2 hours.
On the same Raw, he lost the belt in another match.
Yep. He won the title from The Miz to start the show, lost the title to John Cena to end it. So,
and let's not act like we all expected Jey Uso to have like an extravagant 200-day plus run with the belt.
No.
Like, I that's the thing that gets to me, is seeing all these people that expected Jey Uso to go on almost a year-long run. Like, can you guys tell me who you would have been excited to see Jey Uso face in a year-long title run in a one-on-one match?
I don't know if you have I don't know if you have a strong enough case to say that Jey Uso would have even made it past SummerSlam. Like I really and Damian Priest had a run from WrestleMania to SummerSlam, but that was only after catching in Money in the Bank. We knew damn well he wasn't going to get past Gunther. And having been live for that SummerSlam, watching Gunther become world champion for the first time, it's like you just have to follow along. Like, Jey Uso is not the dominant, overcoming babyface champion. He is still, even as a former world champion, an underdog type person, somebody who you want to root for. And they've always said in wrestling, the babyface has to chase the heel champion. The days of year-long babyface championship reigns, I know we just came off of one with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, but those are few and far between. Year-long world championship runs for babyfaces, they rarely happen. So everybody calm your tits, because that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Jey Uso is still, in his career, a former world heavyweight champion. At least he held the world heavyweight championship longer than David Arquette did in WCW. Okay? At least give him that. There are some people who haven't. Finn Balor got injured in his Universal title match, and I know he won the NXT championship in 2020, but whatever. But still, on the main roster, never got back to the world title. It's been 9 years. And we settled down about Jey. Jey is still wildly popular with the audience. If everybody's going to turn against him because he lost one match, were you ever really a fan of him to begin with?
So, not even turn against him. If we're going to condemn, Paul Levesque and, the team for a decision that, people were bitching about Gunther losing the title. And yet here they are Monday night, surprised that Gunther regained the title. Why are we surprised at this dominant, triple-digit reign champion, both of the Intercontinental and World Heavyweight Championship in the last 10 years? Not to mention his 800-something-day UK Championship reign. They've touted it on TV how that guy has been champion in WWE 90% of his WWE career. Why is it such a surprise, and why is it a big deal? Well, because it's not what the fans wanted right then and right there, so they're not getting their glucose salt this gratification. They want what they want when they want it now. And they get you.
Here's my thing with it too. Like, I thought we wanted the booking to be less predictable. Like, stories don't have to have clear endings. Like, there are very few stories in wrestling that get like that perfect ending to make everybody happy. Cody Rhodes finishing his story at WrestleMania 40 was the perfect ending to that particular story.
Same thing with Daniel Bryan at 30.
Yeah, with Daniel Bryan at 30, even though they kind of backed into that one, it was a beautiful ending. You're not going to get that with every single champion. You're just not. Jay getting that moment at WrestleMania was great. Him not being a long reigning champion is perfectly fine. He's going to be okay. If he never becomes world champion again, he's still going to be a former world heavyweight champion. He's still going to be a Royal Rumble match winner. He's still going to be one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. Like, he's not like going to leave the company and quit and go to AEW to revitalize his career. His career is made. He is a made man. One loss does not define a career. It doesn't. Even though a lot of people want to do it with Kofi. Like, I different scenario.
No, and the thing is, Greg, you mentioned Cody's story ending at 40 was the perfect way to go. We were all convinced it was going to be 39. I went to that WrestleMania with the assumption that I was going to see my buddy Cody Rhodes become the WWE champion. And it didn't happen. People lost their minds. And then it came back around. Oh, okay. Got it. My favorite, Guns N' Roses, Paradise Kitty, my friend's part of lead singer of that band. Her favorite Guns N' Roses song is Patience. Every single fan of the IWC could learn a little bit from Jeff and the fan of Guns N' Roses. That's a little patience. Because golly, it was Monday night. And I don't even think the digital, I don't know, they're not tape machine anymore because it's a whole different platform now, but I think a tape machine was cold yet before people were just lighting up social media because it assassinates yourself.
And Josh brings up a good point. Gunther did tap out of WrestleMania. Jay passed out. You know who else passed out from being in a submission? Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. And a lot of people say that was a career-defining moment. He lost, but look at what it did for the trajectory of his career. Am I saying Jey Uso is going to have the same career trajectory? Obviously not. But we've got to stop thinking like somebody losing a match is the end all of their career. There is such an immediacy of reaction that is completely unnecessary. With every single show. Guys, unless this is the final wrestling show to ever air, there's always the next one.
And it's crazy to think with Jey Uso, like a lot of those accolades that he's got, Rumble winner, world champion, a lot of that shit doesn't happen to a tag team guy, let alone a tag team guy that's a twin, let alone a tag team guy that has been relegated to being a tag team brother for 2 decades.
Yep.
So, like, even if he doesn't get back there, he doesn't have to, because he's already surpassed what anybody has looked at his career even 10 years ago. 10 years ago, if you're looking at the Usos, and no way, shape, or form are you looking at Jey Uso and going, yeah, he's going to hold a world title.
And Jey Uso, back in 2015, was still doing the war paint. They were doing the Samoan dance still. Like, that was the period of time we're talking about here. And 2015, put them as 2-time tag team champions by them. So, like, I don't know. Like
Yeah. 10 years
I
ago, we were
feel, and
lamenting
I
the
think a
fact that
lot
these
of
were
people on my
fans.
TikTok agreed with me that it was an overreaction. And I'll tell you what, I am very appreciative of all the interactions that is getting. It's completely wild to me that a random post that I posted on Twitter that probably got like 100 views got over 13,000 on TikTok.
And still climbing.
Yeah, it is. But we're going to get a wheel spin here because our buddy Brian Doyle is coming in clutch.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Yes, Brian Doyle. We love him. He helped support the show last week when Maven was on. Got us a couple spins, did the 75 jumping jacks, which yikes.
Of course, it would have to be that while we had Maven on.
Of course it was. But you know what? I love Maven for it. He absolutely just kept rolling with what we were going. But you gotta love Maven Huffman. You do. And by the way, this Friday is his 100th video coming out on his YouTube channel. So congrats, Maven. We love you here, obviously. I hope to get to see you in August. Still hoping.
Has it already been 100 episodes of his channel? It does not feel like that.
I know, right? And the crazy thing is, it's been almost a full year since he was on this channel for the first time, which is just time flies.
Wait, Jack of all trades was a year ago?
Yeah, that was the last time we did Jack of all trades, which it's not the last Jack of all trades. I just haven't been able to organize a damn thing since then.
It's been, hey, life has been busy for everybody involved.
Dude, going back to Disney has completely my awareness of time is 100%.
I don't know what day it is half the time.
Well, I remember today because of all the anniversaries. That's what we'll talk about. Yeah, that's crazy. A year ago.
I'll tell you what, who's ever trying to put racial comments in the comments, fuck you, dude. Like, get a life.
Especially where I'm at right now. Can we not play that card in LA? We just keep writing to
I wish my computer wasn't so damn slow, because, like...
yeah.
Anyway, Brian Doyle.
Try to miss your control. I was ignorant. I can't scroll.
He says, hi, guys. How you doing? I don't know about you, but I'm firmly of the belief that Ron Killings is the one to dethrone Cena. That's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'll tell you what. I'm with you. I would love to see Ron Killings dethrone John Cena and become WWE champion. The way he came back in Money in the Bank, his promo on Monday night, I am all for it. All for it. I would love to see it.
I would love to see it as well. However, I feel he's going to be involved in the reason why Cena loses the belt. I don't think he's going to be the one to take it off of him, but he's definitely going to be the catalyst for him dropping the belt.
I feel like this is his, I don't want to say his one shot to be in the main event scene, but everybody loves Ron Killings. Everybody does. Like backstage, the fans love him. We love him. This is a guy who has been world champion before. He's been a 2-time NWA world heavyweight champion. But to see him win a world championship, especially the WWE championship from John Cena in his final run, I think it would be poetic, and it would make the hell up for Capital Punishment in 2011. Because
yes, I think the only reason it won't happen is because if you believe the reliable folks out there in the wrestling journalist side of things, not the ones that live in NorCal. The plan was to release Truth a long time ago, which is why John had him, be part of the storyline. So it's one thing to pivot and bring the guy back and get a feel good moment like we had Saturday, like we had Monday for the promo, to completely pivot away from the entire storyline. I don't see that. I love it for Ron. We were talking about this yesterday. Ron was one of our very first, guests in the first year back in '03 and '05. I love Ron pieces. I always have. But whether we champion 2025, I just don't see it.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
What did it
Again?
In back-to-back weeks? Really?
Okay.
All right, whatever.
We got him on a train.
Jacks it is.
Yeah.
Well, while the boys are doing their jumping jacks, I'll go ahead and come down here and stay out of the way.
Tell you what, like I'm playing the music through here. I know I'm gonna get pinged. I don't give a shit.
See, the only time I've ever gotten taken off of YouTube was whenever we were trying to raise money for the 988. So
yeah,
but they're not going to take you off the air, Greg.
Listen, super chat money. I get the money anyway. It doesn't matter if the video is monetized. So yeah. So here we go.
I think there's painting tickets. I'll be right back.
I have to stretch. If I don't stretch, I won't be able to walk for an hour.
Oh, well, it's a good thing we got half an hour to sit, right?
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Okay. Thank you, Jim Jackson. Let me. Okay, are we stretching? So, I asked for you guys to bring the stuff in over time because they're both doing that in staying in shape in my life. Acknowledging, like we talked about, RBD's first championship, world championship. This day in 2006, they're on the Kings, and it's the first one on this day. So for a lot of us, but just so much of the reason I am wanting to start a podcast, whatever everybody's arguments, both Greg and I talked about how much they enjoyed last year or whatever. It doesn't have to be that rock. So I have both of them so much, and I'm still so much of what he did, so much of who he was for me. His sons are still such high profile personalities. Dusty's legacy is multi-factor. It's not just returning to the gym. It's not just one of those. There are so many different ways that Dusty Rhodes still resides within the wrestling business. 10 years after Green of Wild, I will always be grateful to Dusty for appearing on our show. And the lead up to Ladies this year on the TNA pay-per-view just giving us the run which I can return. So, Michigan Green, love you, man.
Whoever puts 75 jumping jacks on the wheel should get kicked in the nuts.
That would be you.
I know.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to holiday watch that series, should try to in the airport.
Are you going to ask Jen to do it for you live on air, Greg?
I think I'd need a lot more money than that.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't want to see what you're doing that personally, but you made your choices. And again, guys, for the original reason they did that is to just do something silly and shake.
All right. Josh, I appreciate this more than you can imagine.
Well,
Anyway,
So, Greg, I do have a legitimate question about Rodgers and the Steelers.
yeah,
Does he lift your guys' win-loss ceiling?
maybe by a game.
So instead of finishing a game above 50-50, you guys are going to finish 2 games above 50-50.
Yeah, we'll finish 10-7 and then get kicked out in the first round of the playoffs because it's a Tomlin team. Like that's just it's just the way it is. Like I very much temper my Steelers expectations because I've seen what they can do and I've seen what they can't do. And what they can't do is like put away their opponents and like just make an example out of them. That's never been the Steelers mentality. Even with Cowher, even with Chuck Noll and the little bit that I saw of his games. They've never been that offensively dominant team. They've always been a defensive team. So they keep the scores low. They don't do anything pretty or like with a bunch of finesse. That's just the way it is. So,
which is so funny with as many rings as they have. You would think, based on the history and the way of things, that they would be a more balanced franchise, and it's not the case at all.
it's not. And Tomlin puts so much emphasis on the defense, which, yes, he is a defensive coach. He was a defensive coach in Minnesota when we got him. But, like, he's got to care about the offense. He's got to care about the offense at some point. Because defense can't always score for you. Offense is why they're on the field, to put points on the board. Yeah, you can get a pick six and a fumble recovery every once in a while, but don't make that your main method of scoring. Also, Boswell can only do so much.
Hey, no, that is the biblically accurate leg, Brian Boswell, to you.
That's Chris Boswell.
Chris Boswell. What did I call him?
You called him Brian Boswell.
What? That is a person, right?
Maybe. There's probably somebody on Earth named Brian Boswell, but it's not.
I've heard the name Brian Boswell. That's the thing. Like I've heard that name in like sort of like an entertainment side, or maybe even a sports side. I don't know. Let me Google that.
I feel like it's a sports side of things.
Well, it sounds like a hockey player, which the only it would only stick in my mind because I was a hockey player.
Well, for the bit, it's biblically accurate. Boot Brian Boswell.
Brian Boswell.
Watch, is it something insanely heinous that we can't bring up on air?
No, I'm seeing like Brian Boswell's an actor.
Okay.
What was the end?
Let's see here.
You learn things on the Greg Cherry Show, people.
That's it.
Sometimes.
Not just for state law anymore.
He was in a film called The Trouble with Women. Okay, that's great.
Okay. I know I've heard that name.
That's all the information I found on him. There was also a Brian Boswell who was a water polo player for USC. That's all I saw.
That may have been because of USC.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's not who you meant, but that's what
I was talking Chris Boswell.
Okay, there you go. Josh, I'll say this much. Considering how little the Steelers put into their offensive line this offseason, there's a good chance of that. I'm not going
not to mention that rookie monster on the other side of the defensive line for the Browns 2 times a year. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Which, granted, Dan Moore Jr. isn't there anymore. He got like a whopping off-season contract offer from the Tennessee Titans, which I still don't know why. But listen, Tennessee, you can have him. You pay him that 4-year, $80 million over a 4-year deal. Like, have
Wait,
fun.
he's making $20 million a year?
Yes, and he's not that good.
15, maybe 12.5 million a year. 20?
$20 million a year. Oh, Jeff's got something to say.
Ryan Boswell played the young kid on Family Ties at the end of the series.
Okay.
Okay.
He later went on to play a Klingon child on Next Generation. That's where he was. I met Ryan Boswell at Trek and God damn it, it's gonna fucking crap out. Sorry about that.
Okay.
You're good. Josh, Zane, still we're going to have fun. I'm sure you will. And you'll probably, you still won't sweep the Steelers this season.
I mean, Greg, I think you're going to have a fun season to watch as well. I mean, if you're a urinating tree fan, you might get the return of Days of Our Steelers. So.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward. I'll tell you what, I look forward more to the college season, especially with Notre Dame coming off a national championship berth. Like, I have a lot more invested in the collegiate game. If the Steelers make the playoffs, great. If they're able to get past the first round, even better. But I'm tempering my expectations for the Steelers.
Has money to the kids fucked over Notre Dame at all this offseason?
What's that?
Has like the NIL deals, has those fucked over Notre Dame at all this offseason or no?
Not that I've seen. We got Riley Leonard last year from NIL.
I meant like if people were pulling from your team, like NIL deals are getting kids to transfer out of Notre Dame.
I mean, Steve Angeli left, who was the backup quarterback to Riley Leonard. But honestly, with the quarterbacks we got in-house, it seems like they were outperforming Angeli. So it's one of those things. I am not concerned about NIL. I believe in Marcus Freeman's coaching style. So I have a lot of faith in what he's doing in South Bend that I think there's a chance to go back to the national championship and hopefully win it. But I got to believe that for my Fighting Irish. I know they don't have the easiest schedule in college football, but if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Yeah, that's it. You know, at least you've got one team that has a fighting chance. You got to remember, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm a Los Angeles Kings fan, and I'm an Anaheim Angels fan. I just look forward to the rest of the season.
Well, I mean, at least the Kings, they've got a history of success the last 10 years or so. Then you look at the Angels and the Cowboys, and it's the exact opposite.
So the King home Stanley Cup 11 years ago, just coming from the last 4 years, including this playoff season, and not the first round to the damn owners. The previous years, we didn't pass the first round, which is why our GM had a mutual agreement to leave in the offseason. Rob Blake, one of our all-time best people ever. And personally, I love Rob Blake. But yeah, the Kings are in that period again where they have a year or two of just glorious, and then they just fall into the shithole. They're deep in it again because they can't seem to solve the first round woes. The Angels they haven't been World Series champions in 24 years this year, and the Cowboys since 1996. Just kind of is what it is. I have chosen my life as a sports fan, and I enjoy going to games. I wish the Cowboys would come out here more than just during the preseason, so I could watch them live and not have to worry about not seeing Dak Prescott, because obviously Dak Prescott playing in August. That's not happening. Not that he needs to care anyway, because it sucks, right?
Also, I have to say, Josh, I don't know how true this is because I don't know of any Catholic that would be excited to have a USC Trojan as its quarterback. So I'll leave it at that.
Check, please.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
And you know, hey, but you know, if with the Pope being where he's from, maybe let's bring some blessings on the Blackhawks and you know the Cubbies. You know, just God, this these long suffering Chicago sports franchises in general.
It's Matty laws and caddy laws.
It is caddy laws.
This cat,
Yes, she
yes,
is.
I love it. 2 shows in a row. I've had somebody having cat shows toward the end of the run, end of the spring.
There you go. So Brian, you're gonna have to clarify this comment for me. I
Yeah,
don't think
what did I
anybody.
miss?
Yeah, what did I miss? Because I don't think to get to Hogan levels of lying, you've got to be like compulsive.
So
You got to give me context.
I think Cody is more of the vein of never let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's like his papa. Hogan just has the worst memory or the most pathological lies in the history of wrestling, and that's coming from a Hulkamaniac.
Yeah,
it's you know, again, it's been a rough couple of years to be a Hulkamaniac fan. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. We do it on this show, but yeah, it's rough, and it continues to be rough.
yeah. I don't think. I gotta.
Cody, if anybody would ever get near Hogan levels, they'd have to basically be Ric Flair, which
On his latest podcast. Oh.
Okay, no. Okay, I just watched that on the way in today, so it's fresh in my mind. I'm so glad he brought this up. He acknowledged that it was much cooler when AJ was the head of the Bullet Club, when Tim was head of the Bullet Club. I don't think he said they weren't making money. It's just the fact that it became less cool because Cody's not a cool heel. He's an obnoxious heel. He's not like the Outsiders. That's where he compares to Hogan. And that he's not a cool heel. People hate to hate Hogan. They don't love to hate Hogan. Right? That's Hollywood Hogan. But I don't. I'll have to go back and rewatch him. Like literally, I went from watching that podcast to joining Greg and Maddie on the air today. I don't think he downplayed the money making of the Bullet Club prior to his arrival. Because the Bullet Club was substantially the hottest thing in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And the crossover to Ring of Honor was ridiculous. If he implied that, I sure as hell missed it. And maybe if I did miss it and he implied it, then that's me being an optimist about Cody Rhodes like I was about Hogan, so my bad. I don't think that was the case. I'll go back and watch it when we get out the air. Well, I'm going to watch it once I watch it. I'll go back and watch this tonight, and I will gladly give you a oops, my bad on social media.
What I think is like I obviously am not a huge watcher of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know of the history of the Bullet Club. I'm very familiar with seeing so many Bullet Club shirts wherever I went. Like Bullet Club shirts were a major thing for a long time. And like the popularity of that group is probably underestimated because they weren't a WWE creation and AEW wasn't a thing yet when the Bullet Club was created. So it's one of those things where that group got a lot of traction based on everything that they did. And being a part of the Bullet Club was a big deal for a long time. I don't know how much it is now, if they even still have anything going in the Bullet Club.
It definitely isn't what it used to be.
No, it's not. But as often now as I see Loveline shirts and WWE shirts at Disneyland when I'm working, I still see a Bullet Club shirt sprinkled in almost every single time. So they are nostalgic for his like are still they have BBMO or GX or Awesome 316. But for a long time, they were the hot. I have mine. I bought a original logo shirt at Twisted Tea because I was getting stuck back into the wrestling podcast, so I had to be topical. But I honestly don't feel that Cody implied that they made more money than he joined. Were they making money hand over fist as he was part of the Bullet Club? Absolutely. But to imply that he and the Elite made the Bullet Club more money than AJ or Finlay or whatever, I didn't hear that in the conversation, and it's definitely not true. More money, possibly, but not exponentially more money, like by any means.
What ice cream do you want tonight? Moose Tracks or cookies and cream, or both together? Both together if you want diabetes really quick.
Moose Tracks if you just want something different.
I'm a fan of both of those ice creams. I lean towards cookies and cream. Not all cookies and cream are the same though. Like the Edie's brand, or I don't know what you call it on the West Coast, but that brand of ice cream, the cookies and cream, is phenomenal. Moose Tracks is good too. Again, depends on what kind of brand you get. But honestly, if you can't decide between the two, my brother taught me this trick. If you're between two options, flip a coin. If you are unhappy with the result, take the other one.
Yep, exactly.
So that's
Is
what
your brother Two-Face from the Batman universe?
No, but it's something they told me years ago, and it just makes sense. It's actually something Jen and I both use.
I do the same thing.
Like if we both are between two places we want to go to dinner or something we want for dinner or whatever, we flip a coin. If we're happy with it, that's what we go with. If we're not happy with it, we choose the other thing because clearly we want the other thing.
Yeah, I'm more.
Patty Laws wants you to donate $1,000 to the Great Cherry Brand. I'm kidding, but
that's a very dangerous comment to throw up there in the day and age, Josh. But okay.
Yeah, it really. I'll take it off the screen.
I am much more prone to a Baskin Robbins or what they call it, nerd words. Chocolate ice cream with the peanut butter ribbon to it. So, but between those two, it depends why. Baskin Robbins, I'll go with cookies and cream.
I'm a rainbow sherbet kind of guy. That's what I would go for.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with rainbow sherbet. Like that's good too. But that's also not enough.
Yeah, I'm not much of a rainbow sherbet person. I mean, I'm sure it sells well during June because of the theme behind it. But it's just I've never been a fan of the taste of that particular combination of flavors personally. Nor have I like Neapolitan. Like I'm not a fan of that much mixing of brands. So yeah, gun to my head, I'm gonna flip a coin. Store bought is a next up for me. No matter what brand you're buying at the store, the check always comes out better than store bought.
So Brian Doyle was saying that apparently it was said. Like I have not seen. I am very terrible about watching wrestling podcasts or listening to wrestling podcasts. I'm bad at it. I try to listen to what I can, But like, for me, I'm trying to do 50 different other things at once. My brain goes a million miles a minute. Focusing on wrestling when I do my own wrestling show is hard. It's very hard. So I will have to see the clip for myself.
Yeah.
If you give me a time,
let me go back and watch it.
let me know.
For me, I've got it where next week I've got a whole thing. I'm still binging from my childhood forward. Next week is going to be March 1997, including the WrestleMania you mentioned earlier with Austin and Brett, including Uncensored 97, which should have been a show, money making wise, but it happened to be WrestleMania because of the NWO. And all the Nitros, Raws, and SmackDown broadcasts on Twin. I also have the weekly shows that are on now. It looks like it's going to pan out where I'm going to catch up on the non-WWE shows on Thursday. And then Saturday will be podcast day. If I do watch Jeff Jarrett's, Eric Bischoff's, Jesus Christ. There's another one I was going to work on. Conrad and Bradshaw, because it's not the picture. I don't mind Bradshaw's thinking. Stephanie's new show. I like that. Cody's show I watch every week. That's why I was talking about it. So, yeah, I also, outside of Disney, don't have my own podcast anymore. This is why do the show with Greg on 3 on Wednesdays. I'm not working I enjoyed my time, but I apologize, Brian, for mishearing Cody. My turn off comes to.
Our next mission stop is.
See, the only thing I've got to say on that, this is still the second most selling wrestling shirt behind the NWO shirt. This plain ass logo, Bullet Club shirt, if I'm not mistaken, is still in the top 3 all-time most sold wrestling shirts. It's this, it's the NWO shirt, and it's Austin 316.
And if that was in fact the case prior to Cody's arrival, then Cody's wrong. But that would have to require a deep dive into the books of pro wrestling teams, pro wrestling, Ring of Honor, and prior to and following Cody's joining the board. And I'm willing to do that deep dive if it means that we have the topic to dive into. If it's just going to all come back to making Cody be the next Hogan as far as volume levels, fine.
So the clip is apparently like the clip that Brian's referring to is apparently on the Fightful Twitter, because I just looked at Twitter and saw that our good buddy SP3 left a quote tweet about it, and he corroborates what Brian's saying. So
okay,
yeah, I don't know what Cody's referring to here. If he's trying to like downplay the Bullet Club, or if he's downplaying himself. I'll have to watch the clip and probably get some context to it as to why it even came up.
Definitely need context. He knew Priest was his best, and he because both of them were in Ring of Honor at the time that Ring of Honor and Bullet Club were cross pollinating, right? So it's context is king. I heard that on a wrestling podcast somewhere else, or 100 So I will gladly, I have 2 work days of business next week. I have a pet project now, so thank you guys.
All right. Well, on that note, it's about that time. So thank you very much for joining us this week on the Greg Cherry Show. I'll have to let you know about next week if we're doing Wednesday or Thursday, because next Wednesday is.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, if nothing else, those of you that enjoy AEW, you get 4 hours of it right ahead of here at the top of the hour.
So
4
enjoy
hours of
another.
AEW. That shit's gonna end at 10.
Yeah, it's going to end up midnight Eastern. So
Yeah, so
Oh,
9. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's not 9 for us. Yeah, 10 for you, man.
so hopefully they have more than 2 women's matches through the entire show, because apparently that was a big deal last week. I don't know. We didn't even talk about Dynamite because we were going on an hour plus with Maven. So
Yeah, and I was working, so I wasn't even there. But yeah, I'm actually going to watch Against All Odds. The Tina YouTube airing that for free started at the top of the hour. I missed that show, so I'm watching that. I'm on the road.
Oh,
So-
it's free at the top of the hour?
At the top of the hour on TNA's YouTube, Against All Odds from last Friday. Yep.
Okay.
all right.
A lot of
So
wrestling people enjoy.
All the rest of for tonight, kids. Enjoy it.
So until next week, for Jeff Meacham, for Matty Laws, I'm Greg Cherry. Don't be a jag, and we'll see you next time on the Greg Cherry Show. Have a good night.
Our next station stop is